And this section is about getting up with the sunrise and taking a walk while we talk in the park with Rock. Here's Rock. And we are off and running. We try to do this Monday through Friday at sunrise for just about an hour. And we invite everybody to join us, or at least in spirit. Whether you're on a walker, wheelchair, whether you're young, old, it doesn't matter. It's just getting up and trying to get our body on a healthy rhythm. You know, up with the sun. It's the best part of the day is the morning. And he seems to think so too. So our channel is all about, I am a doctor of acupuncture and oriental medicine. I have traveled to over 100 countries around the world, and I love to travel. I think it has a lot to do with health and wellness. And we just, sometimes, as I'm a female who's in my mid-50s, and sometimes it gets hard to stay healthy and on track when we have older parents that are maybe suffering or need extra attention, or our spouses, we either lose them or there's complications, grandbabies coming into the scene. So anyway, it every part of life presents its own challenges, but it's nice to stay rhythmically in tune with nature. And so this is not a beauty contest or completely about weight loss. It is about having a quality of life and getting into a rhythm that works harmoniously to improve the condition of your life. So anyway, we walk and talk in the park with Rock. And if you like that idea, we would certainly invite you to join us. It's usually Monday through Friday at sunrise. I missed yesterday because I myself had to take care of the mums. She's 93 and getting older and having some struggles, but I'm glad I'm here and able to help. So today we are back on track at just about sunrise here, and 6:30, 2 minutes, and we're gonna walk and talk in the park with Rock. So our channel is all about health and wellness and quality of life. Like I said, I am a doctor of acupuncture and oriental medicine. I'm a Harvard grad. I've been to most continents on the planet and over 100 countries. I love to travel. So basically, our sections are about food therapy, different foods that are good for long life. And good morning. And this other section is like about TCM tidbits, traditional Chinese medicine, little helpful tidbits that might be useful in your everyday life, just to know that most people don't know anything about it. So they're simple. I try to make them really simple and easy to learn little things that could save a life or help you or whatever. And then the third thing is this one, walking in the park while we talk with Rock. Rocky is a 21-year-old Papillon who is a little over 5 pounds. He's really funny. He loves life. Good morning. And he is all about sniffing things. It's the way he gets around. It's a beautiful morning. So many of us, when we're on busy, active routines, especially 20s, 30s, 40s, and some folks even, still 50s, it's like routine is important. No debate about that. I love that, and that's what we're doing here ourselves. but I also like to enjoy the moments. And I love YouTube because it gives you so much opportunity to see how so many people all over the world live and what they do. And we learn from each other, which is really awesome. Goodness knows I learned from all my patients and my friends and family and everybody. So that part is awesome. And also, we've learned a few things too, going around and school so long and things like that. But anyway, it is going to be sunrise in a moment, and we are going to head towards this beautiful sunrise. So pretty. Let's go check this out. This is sometimes where I pick this little guy up because he cannot walk for too long, but he can certainly do some of it. Um, okay, here we are. We're walking and talking in the park with Rock. Oh, that was the way he gives me a little kiss. See that, guys? He just goes like that. It's really sweet. But anyway, he's something else. This little guy. He's full of life. He's strong. He's old for a dog. I think the Book of World Records has a Papillon that was like 21. But, I mean, sorry, Rocky's 21. Like 30 something, 36 maybe? I can't remember, but it was in the 30s. So pretty old. Hard to believe, really. But here we have beautiful sunrise. Sneak over here. Maybe not. How about? We'll see it in a second. It's so pretty here, though. I love this park. Just amazing. Really. Here, I'll turn it around so you guys can see. Isn't it pretty? So the whole thing is just make sure we spend some time with nature. I mean, you go all over the world, you know, you're in Tokyo, you're in Vancouver. Tokyo is probably the worst. Everyone's just staring at their phone like I'm doing now. And it's a little bit over the top, but at least we're outside staring at our phone, going for a walk in the park. Isn't that beautiful? So pretty. A little bit of the waves coming up. The sun. Rocky, wanna go down for a minute? Here, come down for a minute. Come on, come on, come on. We'll look at the sunrise while you play. Go ahead. Beautiful. So, for those of you that can't sleep or struggle with different types of insomnia, so many people do, it's something that can help some is regulating yourself with the rhythm of and harmony of nature. So back in the Tao, you know, the wise monks of Indochina, they seem to believe you should get up with the sun and go to sleep when the sun sets, or settle yourself down. So when we don't pay attention to our nature of Earth and nature of the universe, we fall prey to a lot of additional imbalance. Not easy to do in a fast-paced capital nation, but it's good to try. And by trying, just showing up at sunrise and taking a walk and talk or not talk with my Rocky in the park. But you bring your own Rocky and whomever or however you like, or come by yourself. It's nice to do whatever is suitable for yourself, and that's great. So, I wanted to talk about travel a little bit because I know so many people now are really into it, and I feel super lucky in a way that I did so much of it in my 20s, teens, 20s, 30s, and 40s. Still going around all the time. I leave for Egypt in a week. But, you know, it's what's so cool about that is that I went mostly all around the world by myself and not in a group, not with some planned infrastructure. Some cruising, some non cruising. I mostly just planned it all by myself. Um, I guess it's in my DNA, maybe not, but anyone can make it in their DNA, I suppose. You just kind of figure out where you want to go, why you want to go there, and book it, and then go. Most places in the world are really safe for a single female. I'd say the State's one of the more dangerous ones. And out of all the places I've traveled alone, I only had one big scare, and it was in Kansas. Oh my gosh. We won't talk about that this morning. But most of the Far East, it's really pretty safe. The people are pretty nice. I mean, you might have a pickpocketer, but you just read about it, and the government websites are helpful in teaching us about how to prepare and what to wear and how to respect that culture and what the warnings are if it's endemic with rabies or other types of hepatitis, and then just prepare. Travel wisely, but enjoy. I personally didn't get all the shots. And then I was actually never exposed to rabies, even though I was in Indonesia where it is an endemic. I didn't get exposed to it till I got here in the States, and I was walking around at dusk and a sick bat ran into me. So I had to go get the post-exposure anaphylaxis. Anyway, as we say in Boston, how about those Red Sox when I'm going off track? But my point is it's really safe for you ladies of any age, middle age, to travel alone. Just be smart about it. What does that mean? It means don't wear unsuitable clothing. Don't bring attention to yourself unnecessarily. It's not America, so if you're in a largely Muslim culture, don't show your neck, your breasts, your elbows, or your knees. Cover yourself up. Dim your hair down. Read about what the proper suitable thing is to wear. Don't think you're in Miami Beach if you're not. It's not smart. It can cost you your life. But if you're clever about it, you'll be fine. South Africa was another place I adored, but it was also a bit unsafe. Although I loved it. It was one of my favorite places in the world. I was there for quite a while and enjoyed the heck out of it. I was there for almost 2 months when Nelson Mandela was still alive. So that was kind of a special experience, learning so much about his trials and tribulations. And it's a beautiful country. And it is changing. Not as much as we would want and hope, but it is changing. And what a cool country. But, there's so many animals in the parks, and Cape Town is magnificent. I think it's called Alfred and Victoria Square, where you can, right on the waterfront. It's wonderful. go out for a champagne cocktail at sunset, and a lot of good vibe. It's like an old European type city there, and it's lovely. A lot of fun. A lot of Germans go there, staying out and live. Here comes the sun, little rock. Don't with rock in the park. Oh yes, indeed. So this whole thing started, I think, when I was about. My dad always has places. We had 100 acres up in Maine, which we would roam around. We had a little A-frame, and then we had a little place, just a tiny little cottage down in South Shore, Massachusetts, right before Cape Cod in Marion, Mass. And it was so pretty, and we could be right on the water and go for a little boat ride and dig for steamers and stuff like that growing up. So even though it was all in Massachusetts and New England, we went around and did all kinds of cool things. Developing film, tapping trees to get maple syrup, making our own wine, gardening, from difficult to grow roses to all kinds of developing film. We had all kinds of animals, ducks and guinea pigs and dogs, and so we grew up with a lot of nature, so I feel very lucky about that. That was a nice venue, exposure to learn about. And then when I was in, I guess it was junior high school, my mom suggested I go get involved with the Experiment of International Living, which is out of Brattleboro, Vermont. And I think it's like over 100-year-old company, but they had programs where you could go over to Europe and live with another family for an extended period of time. So I applied and was accepted and won a scholarship and did that, and it was awesome. So I got to go to Paris and Strasbourg, France, with a group of girls from around the United States that we shared this experience together, all living at different families, but still consolidated and spent time as a group in Paris before we were dispersed to the families which we were assigned. It was really a great experience, very great company, really nicely organized, and it changed my world and inspired me at a very young age to pursue travel, and recognizing in my youth that it was, just as my mother had said, the best education one could ever have is traveling, whether it's in your backyard or around the world. But that was my first major international trip, was over to France, and I loved it. I used to jog along the Rhine River in the morning. It's a beautiful river that runs through Strasbourg, which is part of Alsace-Lorraine. And I don't know how many people have been there, but Alsace-Lorraine went back and forth in the war so many times that the people there speak English. Not really. They speak German. They speak French because it belonged to Germany, then it belonged to France, then Germany, and then France. And Alsace-Lorraine is a province in France on the border of Germany. And it's really a beautiful wine country, beautiful place. And that is where I lived, in Strasbourg, which is their capital city of Alsace-Lorraine. But what I was saying is the people spoke French. They also spoke German, and they also spoke Alsatian, which is sort of a blend between the two. So it wasn't an easy thing. Good morning. Oh dear. So, Rocky. So that was really good that we got to go there. But what was confusing about it was I was so proud of myself to a large degree mastering the language of French, but now I had to know the German and the Alsatian and the English, and that's a lot. When we were in school back in the day, we got to pick a language when we were in junior high. Now I think they call it middle school. And I picked two. I studied Latin for 4 years and French for 7, and then lived over there. So by the time I got to go over there, I was pretty fluent by the time I returned home. I was fluent in French, which was great. Now, living in South Florida, not so useful. But that's okay, right, Rocky? I got a French little puppy. His name is Rocky, and he's a Papillon. And they are French. Yes, they are. So that's our walk and talk with Rock in the park. And anyway, it changed my world for the better. It taught me mindfulness, harmony. I thought the French culture also had so many advantages that we didn't experience as much in the United States. There was a certain elite component or aspect to their knowledge and exposure to art, culture, and they were very developed in these areas, which I admired. So, lots of things. Not in their food, of course, is delicious. Oh, there we go. So it was really good to have this experience. I think after that, started traveling all over the country. Good morning. Oh yeah. Look at those roots. Look at those branches. So strong. Cute. Okay.
Well, someone's got a puppy.
Yes. A 21-year-old pup. Okay, here we go, Rock. Here we go. We keep walking in the back with Rock, and while we talk. Can't quite get that right. Okay. We're walking and talking in the park with Rocky. We walk and talk with Rock in the park. That's it. Anyway, showing up is 80% of the battle. And showing up for the sunrise. Sometimes we talk like today, sometimes not so much. But either which way, you can't avoid this incredible exposure to the out of doors. It's good to spend time with it, and I love this time of the day. Who wouldn't? So when I was a kid, I swam competitively for years, and sadly I lost my father when I was only 6 years old. It was terrible. But one of the things that kept me going was I evolved in my swim competitions. So how does that relate to this conversation? Well, it relates, guys, because it got me in a show up mode of 4:35 in the morning every day. Like, I don't know, I swam probably 6 days a week, but not when I was 6, but by the time I was 10, and twice a day. But anyway, we had to get up as we evolved as competitive swimmers, like early in the morning, like 5-ish, 4:45. and you had to be ready and jump out the door and get the, your ride would pick you up, a carpool, and then get to the freezing swimming pool and swim for a couple of hours competitively, training with the coach, AAU. And anyway, I think that pretty much pinned me rest of my life for a morning person, because you didn't much have a choice. And not a bad thing, because to this day, and now I'm getting to be a little bit of an old lady, my 50s here, but still loving these mornings, right? The walking and talking with Rocky in the park, the walk and talk with Rock in the park, it's the best. So, love it. So we're still morning people and pops. Morning people and pops. Best part of the day. And when we don't do it, the day isn't quite the same. Even for people that have bad habits, where they're depressed, or anxious, or tired, get yourself up and go for a walk. Right, Rocky? We get like that sometimes. We're not perfect at all, but we're here. And it's a good thing, and it brings value to our life. Excuse you. Excuse you. Rocky, look at the sunrise. You love it. Let me get that out of your hair. Oh, you got a little thing. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah. It's really pretty. Birds. So nice. Ah. So we shall continue our little walk in the park. A little walk and talk with Rock in the park. So anyway, that was my first experience to travel internationally over, besides Mexico and Canada and the United States, was going over to France. And see how much your first major trip impacts you? I now have a French pup, a papillon. Il est le papillon, oui? Regarde ça. Regarde-lui. C'est très gentil, eh? Mon petit chou? That means my little cabbage head, but he's really not a cabbage head. He's a little pup. And he's French. So that's how much influence your first major trips have internationally. So for example, and even with if you guys do like this and you enjoy it and you think it brings any value to you, I welcome your comments below, and we can have conversations that you would like to have. Topics of interest, welcome your thoughts. But at the end of most of my food therapy videos, I always say jusqu'à demain, which means until tomorrow in French. So in terms of travel and health and wellness, you can see our decisions early on in our lives, and where we go and what we experience impacts us sometimes throughout the entire journey of our life as a human being. How about that? Right? We got a French Papillon, and Dr. Liz is always saying jusque demain. Why is that? Because it's all that exposure to the French language, the travel and the trip and the living experience in France when I was just a young girl with my wonderful experience with the experiment of international living, and changed my life. And I'm still endeared to that experience. Still speaking the French, using it in my YouTube videos, and having my bestie being from France, Rocky. We walk and talk with Rock in the park. And Rocky's French. So it's interesting. So ask yourselves, guys, where was your first major trip? Nationally or not? Internationally or not? And how has it impacted you? And if you've not done a lot of travel yet, it's okay. It's never too late, like the Lion King says. So the question is, where do you want to go? And why? And how is that trip going to influence you and the rest of your life? It's almost like travel is almost like a choice on steroids, because you can't help but be, even if you have a monkey mind, which so many of us do, can't really help but can't really help but be more and more in the present when you're traveling, because you're forced. You're forced to be more in the present because you are constantly you're constantly trying to you're constantly exposed to nature and things around you in a new environment. So when you travel, it's an exponential growth experience, because you really can't completely tune it out. It is so stimulating to all five senses that it creates positive change or change. No matter what. That's why, that's one of the many reasons why. That's the primary root reason why travel is so incredibly helpful for our growth and for our health and wellness in mind, body, and spirit. You know, really, whether you're an addict or something, or whether you're just a super healthy fitness weight loss expert. But super healthy weight loss experts aren't all healthy, by the way, although certainly admire some of them. Seen a lot of sick, skinny people. So it's all about balance and doing what's right for you and maintaining harmony with the nature. Certainly not promoting any obesity, but I think being way too skinny is a little overrated as well. I know the old saying, we can never be too thin or too rich, but I would tend to disagree with that. I think there's a lot of pain and agony attached to both. So I think you have to know your own nature. Be dignified and proud about your own nature, and be the best you that you can be. But I think a general rule for all of us is to harmonize with the nature. And that's why we're out here showing up, walk and talk with Rock in the park at sunrise. Okay, here we go. Go over here to the sailing park, this really cool park over here. So pretty. So I was watching all these videos where these other people count their steps and stuff like that. Definitely not a bad idea, but I think it's also really nice to actually, um, that is Captain Sewell's house. Isn't that cool? You know, not to switch gears here, guys, but you know, a lot of these sea captains, that wasn't his original location of the house. I think it's been relocated, and back in there is a really cool little walk. We'll do that another day. Um, but interestingly, how a lot of these sea captains, um, they didn't have homes right on the water, like especially in Nantucket. You know, that was like the whaling capital of the world for said period of time. And, that's how the Widow's Walk came into play, I believe. But so many of these guys were killed at sea. But hold on, here's the sun. Look at how pretty it is coming out. So beautiful. It's really lovely. But anyway, it's funny how everybody wants to live on the seacoast now. I prefer to live a couple of blocks back. Why is that? Well, those famous sea captains did. They knew a little bit too much about the ocean. So either which way works, of course. Just a little bit how I think from all that experience. Spending much time in the south shore of Massachusetts, Cape Cod Bay, the islands, Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard. And here we are in Stuart, Florida. It's nice here though. It gets a little hot in summer, so time to travel, but it's all good. Nothing is perfect, but it surely is fun going around by land and by sea. So what I try to do, just like I do in relationships, so yes, I'm a doctor and my thing is on wellness, but I just want to share, so every relationship that doesn't work out, I try to take the best qualities that I experienced from the person I was with. And that is pretty special because what I find when you miss when the person's gone is not so much missing everything about them, but their greatest traits and parts. So take them and make them your own. That's how we learn and grow. It's why we were appealing to them and vice versa. So that's always a good thing to do. And I feel the same application applies when we travel. So when we go to South Africa or Paris, Strasbourg, or China, or Bali, Indonesia, or wherever it may be, enjoy the heck out of your experience, mind, body, and soul. And whatever feels the greatest to you in that trip, take it and make it part of you. Like Bali, Indonesia is extremely exotic. The people are extraordinary. They have a je ne sais quoi, a something that you cannot articulate. It's like a magic to their soul. And they understand humanity and life essence more in the Far East, and certainly it portrays itself in Bali, Indonesia, more than anywhere you'll ever experience in Europe or the Western world. Even though the Portuguese and the Dutch ran the spice trade for thousands of years, it always, started in Indochina, right? So India and China are the areas where medicine strongly commenced. I mean, there can be argument, is it Egypt and Babylonia, which is now Iraq, that kind of stuff? I don't know. But I think it equally as old when we look at the data is Indochina. And certainly the spice trade stemmed. Most of the goods came from that area, even though the Brits ran it, the Dutch ran it, and the Portuguese ran it for years. So anyway, I know, right? Lots of things ahead at 6 in the morning. It's now 7, but it is interesting. So I guess it's good to take the best parts of each part of your life. Right, Rock? He says, yes, Mums, right? Here we go. Okay, so in other words, whether you're traveling to a different town, state, national park, or country, or then take the best from that area. Like if the French have the finest croissant and the nice food and really exquisite culture, like their dancers and athletes are extraordinary because they have such amazing choreography, right? Some of the best in the world. I think the best in the world, well, maybe the Chinese now top it with the Shen Yun. But we hadn't been open to China. We were closed for 50 years and didn't open until 72, so we still don't have the kind of exposure. But anyway, my point is, be it a relationship that ends, take the best out of it and make it your own. If you travel to a place, you're gonna like some things you're not gonna like. Take the best of it and make it your own. That's what I've tried to do. I've been so many places, and although I am single and super happy about that. Oh, a bunny, hold on. Did you guys see the bunny? Hold on. Look at, oh. There's a bunny. Why? They want to say hi to you. Look at that. Look at the bunny, Rocky. Okay. Hello, little bunny. Hello, goodbye, little bunny. Goodbye, little bunny. Oh, you want to hang out with Rocky? Oh, I guess. Did we scare him a little bit, Rock? Okay. So, anyway, this is our sailing center. It's really nice. But, so that's what you can do. Take the best of it. It's just every place offers something that better than anywhere else in the world. And so recognize it. Recognize the core talent of each place. And then make it your own. We meet again. Hello. Hello. Make it. Oh, lovely. So, can do that. We are still walking around. So I think that's just one of the lessons I personally took as a world traveler, as a person who loves to journey around the planet. I'm not one of these kids that jumps out of perfectly good airplanes or bungee jumps. I've observed it plentifully in many of my trips around the planet. Actually, recently when I was in New Zealand, yeah, they were jumping and bouncing in some really famous place in New Zealand. Well, what do we say, Rock? Better them than me. I mean, to each his own, but that one didn't work for me. But for those folks out there that love that stuff, good for you. I just like to get on a plane or a boat and journey and explore quietly and learn and see and be part of. And I'm not quite that level of adrenaline junkie, but I surely love to go around in the car, in the boat, in little boats in the fjords, in the Nordic, or big boats across the Atlantic or the Pacific or the Indian Ocean. Super fun. Right, Rock? But you just take the best of it You learn so much from the travel. I so highly encourage it. But if you are a person that is single, a female, don't be afraid. And if you want to go with a group, go with a group. But if you don't, just plan it out and go. It is super safe. Just do your homework. You can, I'm an American Express card holder because I think American Express offers a lot of value. They have medical, if you have any sort of urgent matter in one of these distal nations, helicopter excavation. I don't know if I said that right, but they offer a lot of services that I personally like as a traveler, but you can pick and choose what's suitable for you. Read the government websites about that country and just book your flight and get the best rates and go. You don't have to be wealthy to travel. Not at all. You can use your points, or you can just book travel ahead a little bit. And there's so many ways you can do it inexpensively. Same thing with cruises. So I just think it's wonderful. And I think it's great a little bit when you're young, because it can be really tiresome if it's like 50, 60 hours travel somewhere. But just drink a lot of water when you're on long flights, and don't eat too much, but eat something healthy, and move around every few hours. I remember when I first went to the Paris, they had airplane aerobics in the chair aerobics. They don't do that anymore. It was Air France. It was so good. It was the best thing. Chair aerobics or airplane aerobics. It was the best thing. It avoids blood clots. You don't want that. You want to have a ball on your trip. And if people are sick, there's something in Chinese medicine called Yuping Feng Wan, but you should go to your acupuncturist and find more out about it. But it's just a little pill you can take that will protect you. If there's a bunch of sick people on the plane, it will actually protect you from catching something. And you just take a few doses depending on how far you're going. And you have to get it prescribed by your acupuncturist, but it's well worth the journey because it does protect you and it allows you to have a good experience. And now the only way you would still get sick is if you had already gotten the pathogen in your body before you consumed the Yuping. So if you haven't, then you're good. And I prescribe it to all my patients that are going to weddings or being around a lot of people or traveling, because who wants to go halfway around the planet and be sick the whole time? Take it from someone who knows. Yeah, that would be me. Most of the time I never get sick, but the last trip I was on, I actually got really sick in Australia and New Zealand, and it wasn't that fun. Luckily, one of my besties over in that part of the world is a doctor in Sydney. So lucky for me, she was so nice and let me stay in the guest room in the bed. Slept for like a month. It was terrible, but anyway, lucky I had her, because it wasn't so much fun, but she took good care of me, and I'm feeling much better now. And guess what? I didn't take the Yuping Feng Wan, but my girlfriend did, and she didn't get sick, so leave it to the doctor, right? Yippity yap. Okay, let's check out these birds. Hold on, guys. Ducks, hold on. Isn't this beautiful? Look at the family. Isn't that awesome? That's so cool. Isn't they lovely? They're so nice. I love it. What a Family of ducks. Make it a great day, little duckies. Jusqu'à demain. See you tomorrow, little pups, little ducks. This is so pretty in here. Just so beautiful. Look at these trees and the roots. So, one thing I've learned is little things are big things. So just getting up and thinking positively, enjoying the beauty of nature, just even thinking about it is a good start. That's why in my challenge of my new book, Live Longer, Eat Better, good morning, there's 36 foods in that book based from the Tao Scholars compilation. And it's just simple. I just ask the people to eat 3 of the foods every single day that are in the first section of the book, Live Longer, Eat Better. Oh, look at these little duckies over here. Let's check it out. Because just even 3, even if you're overweight, an addict, whatever, at least you're making it a little better by eating 3 of those foods every day. Black sesame seeds, royal jelly, tomato, peanut, obviously healthy ones, but yeah, just by doing little things add up to be big things. Inch by inch, life's a cinch. Same thing with the travel. When you think of all the places you want to go, it's too overwhelming. But if you just book 1 trip a year, or even 2, or just 1, whatever, book it, do it, experience it. Then you have that experience, then you book another one. Inch by inch, life's a cinch. That's my old saying to my patients. A lot of them find it to be quite true. It's only so much time. So sometimes you gotta slow down to speed it up. Right, Rock? That's what we're trying to do with these walks. Right, Rock? We slow it down to speed it up. So we continue our walk and talk with Rocky in the park. And love you guys to join us each and every Monday through Friday. We still got a ways to go, but I'm just sharing that with you guys. Oh, look at this tree. Hold on. Isn't that something? Just so nice to get up with the nature. Now see this stuff coming down from the trees? See that mossy stuff? I'm not a botanist, nor am I claiming to be such. But that hanging down moss, that is used by the pharmaceutical companies to treat prostate health. I don't use it in my clinic. I don't know exactly what they do with it biochemically, but they come and collect it and they use it. And we do treat prostate health very effectively, but we don't use that. But it's pretty cool, right? And you see these trees all over Florida and that moss. But it's all for pretty. So we're almost an hour into the sunrise. And best part of the day. Best part of the day to stay and play. And we just love it. Look at that beautiful tree, right? Isn't that nice? That's a beauty. Let Rocky down for a minute. Felt like quicksand, but I don't know if they have that here. Certainly not in this park. Rocky. Rocky. Hi, Rocky. How's your walk and talking with Rock in the park going, Rock? You like it? Oops. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Oops. Good morning. Beautiful. Some more little family friends. They seem to like this part of the day the best, too. Hi. This tree is beautiful. This one, too, over here. Come on, Rock. I know you like to sniff all that. Come on. All right, let me get you. Let me get you. Come here. Come here. I'm gonna pick you up. Okay, I know. Oops. I know. I want to show everybody this tree, though. This tree is really pretty. I don't know if you can see it with all the sun coming up so bright. So beautiful. But let's go around to show everyone how pretty this tree is. Isn't that gorgeous? I don't know the name of it, but it sure is a pretty one. Isn't it lovely? Really, really lovely. Such a pretty park. I think we're gonna go over this bridge. We're gonna head right towards this tree. So lovely. So many beautiful parts of the park. So when I was between things over maybe close to 15 years ago or so, there's a museum here for children. It's a wonderful little museum for children. And one of the philanthropists here in this community asked me to write his book. And he was one of the big philanthropists, I believe, for this children's museum. And it was such a fun thing to write his book. It's not available for the public to read. It was a sort of a family piece, coffee table, about his life privately. He's passed now. He was one of the oldest veterans from the World War II. He's a great guy. See there? Look at that moss. See that? I'm not sure what the difference is between the two mosses, but maybe, don't know. But anyway, this is the museum over here, the Children's Museum. And it is indeed a lovely museum. And this museum, many people made financial contributions and continue to do so, but he was one of them. His name was David Smythe, and he was a wonderful philanthropist to many causes at the hospital here in Martin County, as well as this museum. And I wrote his book, and it was a lot of fun doing it. He was a wonderful man. He had a great story. This is the front of the museum. He had a great story to tell. So I hung out with him a lot while we were writing the book because it was necessary, right? To really study who he was, understand who he was and his life experiences. He made a lot of money and he never went to college. Me, on the other hand, I've been to more college than, golly gee, most people on the planet, between 3 bachelor's degrees, 3 master's degrees, and a doctoral degree. Ay. It doesn't matter. To each his own. He didn't go at all, and he was brilliant and so fun to be with. Such an interesting, cool, super smart guy. I learned so much from him. One of the things he taught me was, well, it's a joke, actually. I mean, not a joke that he taught me a lot of stuff. A joke, what I'm going to share. Because it was his joke, and I loved his joke, and I learned from his joke. And here goes his joke. It was about a chicken. I'll never be able to tell it as nicely as he did. But he was a big, tall, statuesque gentleman. Really, really nice guy. Like I said, gave a lot of funds to, I know he did a lot for this children's museum here. He wasn't the only one, but he was definitely part of it. Anyway, his joke was about a chicken. He said, did you know there was a chicken that was born? Did you know the story? He called it the naked chicken. And I put it in the prelude in his book. But Eddie loved that because it was the first joke he told me. And he was full of wonderful jokes. But one of his stories was about the chicken, his jokes. Hi, squirrel. Hello. He likes the museum too, the Children's Museum. And he said the chicken was born naked. It didn't have any feathers. And all his friend chickens, they had feathers. So he said that the little naked chicken that had no feathers got really picked on. Wasn't very nice. He was bullied by the other chickens. And that doesn't feel good. God knows we've all been bullied. Oh, there's a nice little squirrel. Hi, little squirrel. Good morning, little squirrel. Good morning. Good morning. He's going to see his friend. Look at that. Oh, no. Look at their friends. They got 2 little squirrels. So anyway, the story is this. So the little chicken that was born without feathers, they called him the naked chicken. He got picked on and bullied by all the chickens that had feathers. And then all of a sudden, he was really sad. Not all of a sudden, the whole while he was really sad because he didn't have any friends. And the chickens were all picking on him. So it hurt his feelings a lot, and he was always alone. But then he learned to really like his time alone. And golly goodness, I can relate to that. What do you think about that? You too? Okay. But you like when the kids come visit, I know. So anyway, the chicken, they got into puberty, so they started to develop, and they were no longer little kids, little chickens. They started to lay eggs. So this little chicken got time where laid an egg. And he laid a beautiful golden egg. The other chickens, well, they had some problems. You know, their eggs, if they even had any, were okay. They weren't golden. So the naked chicken made a golden egg, and the other chickens just had, a regular type of eggs. Fine. Some of them couldn't even lay any eggs. But the moral, so he became really popular, really happy. He knew he was special. He was a special chicken, special soul. And guess what? The moral of the story. So he became very famous, and that moral to the story is don't be mean to the naked chicken. Don't be mean to the person that is a little bit different. Treasure their unique qualities, because you never know how things can change overnight. He went from being picked on and not well liked and respected to being a godlike hero. And he was the same chicken all the while. They just hadn't discovered his wonders. So let's not be so blindfolded to not discover each unique wonder of each person and each part of the world and each part of our experiences and our relationships. They all have wondrous, incredible parts to them. So, hope you enjoyed David Smythe's story about the naked chicken. I think it's adorable. He was a wonderful man, wonderful, funny guy, made everybody laugh. The children loved him. He knew Francis Langford and lots of other people in the community. He's very humble, very kind, very generous. And the world is a better place because he was in it. Make it a great day, and thank you so much for checking in. So pretty, right? So thank you so much for taking a walk and a talk with Rocky in the park at sunrise. We'll see you tomorrow, and make it a great day. Jusqu'à demain.